All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do our daily update on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. Now, today was not a good day, and that's putting it lightly. So Bitcoin was down a bunch today. The Bitcoin miners were down even worse, and really all the stocks related to cryptocurrency took a big hit today. So I want to talk about what is going on in this space and where we can expect to go from here. So if you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, I appreciate it. It really has been helping out the channel a lot lately, so thank you for that. And lastly, if you want to become a member of the channel, you can hit the join button on YouTube, and members get some members-only content. In addition to that, we do a members-only live stream once a week, as well as the members get to pick a video for me to do each week. So we'd love to see you there. Let's talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners on what was not a good day. Okay, I'm going to start on the Bitcoin miner big board. There were many very, very deep red moves today, so I really want to spend a second and just talk about them. Bitfarms was down 15.38%. Bitfarms is now trading for 55 cents. Bitfarms was at its 2-year low prior to today, so now it's down another 15%. So that is trading at historic lows. HUT, very similar. HUT was down 10% today. It's trading for $1.12. That takes out the lows from the summer, so it's at a new 2-year low. Hive Blockchain down 10.7%. It's at a new 2-year low. CleanSpark down 11.4%. It's at a new 2-year low. Riot was down 10.76%. It's at a new 2-year low. Okay, Marathon had the worst day of all. Marathon was down 17.14%. However, Marathon is not yet at its 52-week low. So it still has a little more downside to go. It is the only one on this board that is not either at its 2-year low or all-time low. So for whatever reason, Marathon has outpaced all the rest of the Bitcoin miners. Well, today it was the second worst Bitcoin performer. Okay, GREE was up 1.6%, but GREE's trading at 57 cents. It's a penny stock at this point, so I'm not sure if we can take much away from that. Same thing with DigiHost. DigiHost was green, up 1.29%, but it's trading at 59 cents. It's a penny stock. I'm not sure if there's anything we can take away from that. Upon popular request and demand, everyone has been wanting to see MicroStrategy on this board, so I've added them. So you'll see MicroStrategy at the bottom. They were down 7.58%, and that is not their 52-week low. So MicroStrategy does not mine Bitcoin, but they're the closest thing to a pure Bitcoin play that you can get out there probably. So I will put them on the board, and we'll take a look at them going forward. So they are another one who did not reach their 52-week low, so there's potentially more room to the downside there. Okay, before I look at the Bitcoin charts, I want to show you this. This was as of Friday, so this does not include the down day that we just had today. What this chart is it's measuring each Bitcoin miner from its 52-week low that it hit in late June or early July. So Bitcoin flash crashed down to about 17,500. All the Bitcoin miners hit basically a 2-year low at that point, and this is what they've done since. So you'll see this was prior to today. Every single Bitcoin miner had already taken out their 2-year low, with the exception of Marathon and Riot. With today's activity, Riot got under $4. I think it closed at $3.97. That is their 2-year low, so they are now in the red as well. The only remaining is Marathon, and it is still up. It still has, 80 cents or $1 to go to get to its 52-week low. But you can see some of these other stocks. Bitfarms was down 15%. It was already down 38% from its all-time low prior to that. So CleanSpark was already down 39%, and they were down another 10% today. So really all of the companies across the board, all the Bitcoin miners are really at something of historic lows. Most of these are at 2-year lows, and actually most of them, being newer companies, are actually at their all-time low by far. So this sector has gotten taken out. To put it in perspective, the market cap of every single one of these Bitcoin miners put together that you see on this chart right here is less than half of what the market cap of just Riot was in November of 2021. The same thing can be said about Marathon. It's less than half of Marathon's market cap. And Core Scientific at one point, just 6 or 7 months ago, had a larger market cap than all of these companies put together right now. So we are now under $3 billion in market cap for the entire Bitcoin mining sector. So this is getting staggeringly low. So the question is this the bottom? Where's the bottom? Is there another shoe to drop? FTX is obviously still massively affecting the Bitcoin market and the cryptocurrency market. So I want to look at a couple articles real quick. Okay, so I'm just grabbed 2 articles at either extreme because, like I said, the fear out there is huge. there is an awful lot of noise. It's hard to cut through that noise, and it's hard to stay calm in a time like this. But I just want to show you two different articles that to me show you that we're in the middle of a correction here, but I think there's better days ahead. And that doesn't mean tomorrow necessarily, but I think there are better days ahead. We will get to the end of this crisis. Okay, so this is an article from MoneyWise. Quote, "This is a crypto extinction." And that was from Peter Schiff. He now sees a total destruction of digital currencies very soon. At one end of the spectrum, we have somebody calling for the extinction of all cryptocurrency. But I look at this as the other end of the spectrum because you really need to follow the money. So Bitcoin mining difficulty reaches an all-time high despite slump in price and FTX woes. So obviously we have had a huge pullback in crypto. However, the Bitcoin mining difficulty set a new all-time high. Now it was just by a little bit, but it continues to set a new all-time high. And what that means is there are more Bitcoin miners on the network mining Bitcoin. And really only the latest and greatest miners at this point are effective in mining a profit. So that means the Bitcoin miners by no means think that this is a crypto extinction. They continue to add exahash despite the fact that Bitcoin's at a 2-year low and the cost of energy has been very difficult for the last year. So even though those are the two main forces that would affect the profitability for a Bitcoin miner, these Bitcoin miners continue to increase their exahash. Now, each one of them has taken a different strategy, but the overall worldwide exahash rate continues to increase. So to me, that does not say crypto extinction. What it does say is that there's a correction necessary. One of two things or both of two things have to happen. The price of Bitcoin has to go up in order for it to be efficient to mine Bitcoin, or the worldwide hash rate has to go down in order for it to be efficient to mine Bitcoin, because Bitcoin miners will not lose money mining Bitcoin forever. So I don't think you're going to see a massive decrease in the worldwide hash rate. I think you're going to see the difficulty level potentially level off, although we still know of a lot of Bitcoin miners that have an awful lot of exahash left to add to their mining capacity. So really the only correction for this is for Bitcoin to get back to what I call a little bit more of a normal number. So that's one of the main reasons that I think that Bitcoin is artificially low right now. Let's go to the Bitcoin chart and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, as always, there's an orange line on here. This dates back to the close on Friday. So this is where Bitcoin was trading when the market closed on Friday, the equity markets in the US. So Bitcoin was at about 16,600. Bitcoin right now is at about 15,800, just a little bit under that. At the low on today, Bitcoin got down to 15,581. When we get on the larger time frames, you'll see that's pretty close to an exact retest of the bottom. Okay, so from the market close on Friday until the market closed today, Bitcoin was down over 5%. So that is a big move to the downside. You know, it's only about $800, but that's starting to mean a lot with Bitcoin down at the $16,000 range. So that's a big move to the downside. However, we did see the Bitcoin miners move down significantly worse than that for the most part. So as always, they are a leveraged play on Bitcoin. Okay, so if I zoom out to the 4-hour time frame, you're going to see back on November 9th, so today's the 21st, so that was 12 days ago, Bitcoin did get down to about 15,512. We got very close to that today. This purple line I have here is at 15,588. That would be a 30% pullback from the 200-day moving average. The only two other times we've ever gone below the 200-day moving average, we had a 30% pullback. So we've been waiting and waiting for 5 months, but finally we did get that 30% pullback, and now today we're retesting that. So I don't know that this will hold. This was the next natural line of support in my opinion, and we are now twice visiting this line, so hopefully we will bounce off of this. However, with the amount going on out there, just the continued talk and rumors are enough to potentially press this down to lower numbers. I do think this will correct itself. I think if we look at the 1-day time chart, you'll see, okay, here's our second test, this daily candle. These 2 days were the FTX crisis. So there was a monumental drop in the price of Bitcoin. We were up here over $20,000, and next thing you knew, we were testing 15,500. So we went a little sideways, and now we've gotten a bunch of FUD on Friday as it pertains to Genesis and Grayscale. So there's that new round of FUD has pushed us back down to retest that low. But I do think we're at the end of that. I will do a separate video on some of that situation and tell you exactly what I think of it and where it's going. But suffice it to say, in my opinion, I don't see any fundamental change in Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin is suppressed at this point. It's suppressed by all of the actions that have happened in 2022. The latest and greatest, of course, a series of exchanges going out of business. FTX being the biggest disaster out of all of them. We're still unwinding that situation. It looks like they said their top 50 creditors, FTX owes about $3 billion to. So I think a lot of what's happening is we don't know who those 50 creditors are. There's a lot of counterparty risk, and stocks are getting hit everywhere in the event that they might be one of those companies that is owed money from FTX and isn't going to get their money back potentially. I don't really want to dig into the technicals because I think they can be very misleading. They look like they're telling us one thing, but then really what's happening is the overall general narrative around cryptocurrency is what is dictating the price of Bitcoin. And obviously this decrease in price of Bitcoin is dictating the massive downward push in the price of Bitcoin miners. And the question is now becoming, are these miners going to survive? And if so, which ones? So I did do a video on my top 5 most likely to survive a crypto winter Bitcoin mining companies. So you can check that out if you want to. I will probably do an update on that video. And I want to go through all the Bitcoin miners over the next couple of weeks and talk about this, since once again, we seem to be at 2-year lows here. And this time around, the Bitcoin miners have gone significantly lower than they were back in June when everything hit its 2-year or all-time low. So we sit at very historic numbers. I think things are oversold, but having said that, I do think some of these Bitcoin miners may not make it to the finish line. And the question is how many, which ones, and which ones are going to go first. So I'm going to try to spend the rest of this week talking about those types of topics. So I continued to buy a little bit today. I'm buying in at a very slow pace because I don't know where we go from here in the short term. I do think a more natural price, I think Bitcoin belonged back up here between 19 and 20,000. But I don't know how long this downward pressure is going to last. And you can see even as I'm talking, we're retesting this purple line right now as we speak. So we'll see if that holds on the day or if that line breaks. And if it does break, then we're going to have to find the next line of support for Bitcoin. So in the short term, I just don't know how low we go. And it's really a guessing game. And it mostly has to do with the overall narrative from the market right now. So everything has been very gloom and doom. I do think the market will grab onto any little bit of good news that it can get. I'm just not sure what good news that would be. So for the moment, I'm very slowly and patiently dollar cost averaging into those Bitcoin miners that I think are the least likely to go out of business. So I guess that's what I'm doing. But again, this is not financial advice. You guys got to decide for yourself, risk reward. Obviously, things have gotten very, very ugly here. So I hope everyone's portfolio is doing okay. Best of luck to everybody. That's all I got for you today on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. We will definitely talk more about this tomorrow. Remember to subscribe and smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.